Help, I played Baldur's Gate 3 wrong. Warning, this might contain spoilers, but seeing as it's been out for some time, I doubt there is anything I could say that might not already be known by most players. Help, I played Baldur's Gate 3 wrong. Which is very true. So as everyone knows, Baldur's Gate 3, or just Baldur's Gate, has been around for a while, and while I'm sure everyone more or less knew what they were doing, I did not. While I have played D&D before, I have never actually played a game that worked like Baldur's Gate. I have played turn-based games in the past, like more commonly popular right now is Star Rail, but when I was younger I played turn-based games like Pirates 101 and Wizards 101, if anybody knows what that is. But this felt different in some way. Maybe because the lore and the amount of exploration was much more than the other games I had experienced in the past, but also this game wasn't just turn-based, it was also D&D based, which I think added to the new experience that I had playing this game. I kind of went into this game blind because I didn't want any spoilers. I really only knew about the mind flayers and the romance aspect of the game as it was trending everywhere, especially about this one. I knew going into this that my choices actually made a difference in the gameplay. So when I first got off the Mind Flayer ship, I found Shadowheart, and there was an option to go find Lae'zel, but I chose not to say anything because I thought I would just naturally find her, only to later find her killed by her own kind once you made it past the goblin camp through the mountain passage. Okay, technically I know that statement is wrong. The inn that you go to save Will's dad is actually where you're supposed to meet the Githyanki and either talk to them or kill them and then make your way through the mountain pass. I, however, in my first run was unable to do this, so I just went back through the goblin camp. After my second run, I realized I literally walked right by the area where I could have freed her. So that was already my first mistake. Not only that, but the portal Gale is in, I didn't know what that was. Like, I knew it was a portal, but I thought it was just freaking out. When I saw it during my second run, I was like, oh, wait, is this that one clip I saw of Gale? So then I approached it, and it was Gale. So that was, mistake number 2, but it gets worse. I advanced the story by exploring the area around the wreckage of the ship, and I stumbled across Astarion, to which I quickly added him to my party, as I only had Shadowheart in my party. Following this, I explored around for a bit, and quite honestly, I don't remember how I met Will, but I did, and then I ventured into the Druid Grove. Side note, at the time I wrote this down, I could not remember where I had met Will. So, I do remember where I met Will. It was in the Grove. He was teaching the little kids how to fight. Just wanted to add that here. I'm skipping some stuff to make this shorter. I then came across Karlach only after accepting just about every quest to help the Grove and tried to discover secrets at the Goblin Camp. Mizora showed up, and then Will got whammied with some horns. I then couldn't beat the fight at the Grove and ventured off to the mountain pass, where it said, "Are you sure you want to continue? Do you want to tie up loose ends?" or something like that. And in my head, I was like, well, I'm kind of pissed off, and surely I've explored all the area already. I'm just gonna do it. Newsflash, I hadn't explored the whole map, I had never found Auntie Ethel, and I never ran into the monster hunter that was looking for Astarion. I came to the realization that while Astarion did try to eat me the first night, that he never tried to seduce me. I assumed I simply just hadn't said something to him to trigger it, or maybe it was the story locked. until I got to a certain point of the overall plot. Well, I went back and busted up Auntie Ethel, and I ran smack into this monster hunter where Astarion and my character talked about the dangers this runaway vampire could pose, which I only realized this once I had made my way to the Shadowfell / Underdark, where you needed to use the moon lantern. I did some Googling. That's when I realized that might have been what causes Astarion to like trust you for the first time and then try to seduce you. I was way off base with that, because then during my third run I actually saved the grove, and then there was the after party, and that's when everybody tries to seduce you. And then I was like, oh my god, it all makes sense. It's almost like whoever made the game wrote it specifically that it was like they were celebrating and they were making bad choices, but good ones at the same time. Because I really wasn't expecting in my third run, it was either my third or my second, everybody was trying to seduce me. Lae'zel wanted to taste my sweat. That really threw me off. I didn't know that was a thing until it happened. Shadowheart asked me if I wanted to drink wine with her. I was pretty sure that was a move. And I did some Googling afterwards, and it definitely was. Will was off being angsty, and, you know, for some people that's pretty seductive just on its own. I mean, I know some people who would just love the angst. That's all it takes. Astarion was like, let's, make bad choices, but for the right reasons. And I was like, that's pretty compelling. Like, you didn't even have to say that. I would have been down to make bad choices for the wrong reasons. Like, I don't care. Back to my first run through was probably the best. I don't think any of my other run throughs are gonna be better than that. Even though I did everything wrong, it's my favorite. Gale, to me, maybe it's because I met Will first. Gale is he's giving a sorcerer backstory, kind of. And he's like, I have to consume stuff. And I'm like, this is a very, very inconvenient for me. And you're gonna explode. Nobody's winning. I don't take him anywhere. I was like, oh, this is great, since I don't have Will in my second run. But he was not helpful. Like, Will is far more helpful than Gale was. I don't know if I just didn't level him up enough because I kicked him out of my party. Also, I want to clarify that when I say I kicked Gale out of my party, I don't mean I kicked him out of the camp. I mean, I just did not want him in my direct party. Don't hate him enough to kick him out because, maybe his sacrifice will help if I choose to do that later on in one of those runs. But Gale does not seem that great, and I know everybody's like semi-customizable and, oh, well, maybe I don't have the right build for him, which is totally possible, but I mean, like, I built Will 2 different ways. Like, I gave him different stuff, and he's still really great. Maybe Missoura just got, like, I don't know. Missoura is doing something for Will that Gale's not getting from Mistra, okay? Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not the same. So with that, I am going to end this here. So I just want to say again that this is all my opinion and just how I personally experienced the game, and I can make a part 2 of this. I just didn't want the video to get too long because I'm a bit repetitive. See ya!